There's something uniquely intoxicating about 1970s cinema, a decade when filmmakers weren't just pushing boundaries, they were obliterating them. Amid the household names and Oscar winners, there exists a sublayer of film, raw, experimental, provocative, that dared to be different and paid the price of being overlooked. These are the films too bold for mainstream acceptance, too strange for casual viewing, but too brilliant to be forgotten. Today we're diving into 5 obscure and underrated gems from the 1970s, films that challenged convention, warped perception, and left an undeniable mark on the underground film canon. If you're tired of playing it safe and you're ready to step into the weird and the wonderful, then this list is your portal. Before we jump in, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe, especially if you're the type who finds beauty in the bizarre and brilliance in the overlooked. Let's not ease into this. We're going straight for the throat with Pink Flamingos. John Waters' trash masterpiece isn't just a film, it's an act of cinematic terrorism. Armed with an 8mm camera and the sheer audacity of Divine, Waters delivers a grotesque, satirical slap to the face of middle America. It's filthy, it's shocking, it's unapologetically offensive, but beneath the dog feces and genital contortion is a subversive commentary on fame, morality, and the limits of taste. Waters weaponizes camp like no one else, creating a world so intentionally repulsive that it exposes the hypocrisy of so-called good taste. Pink Flamingos isn't for the squeamish, but if you can stomach its audacity, you'll witness a rebellious triumph in DIY filmmaking, one that redefined what cinema could dare to be. It remains one of the boldest expressions of outsider art ever committed to celluloid. Before the Rocky Horror Picture Show became the poster child for glam-rock horror musicals, Brian De Palma's Phantom of the Paradise quietly laid the groundwork, mixing Faust, the Phantom of the Opera, and the Picture of Dorian Gray into a phantasmagoric blend of satire, tragedy, and glam excess. It's a film that feels like it shouldn't work, too weird, too loud, too genre-defiant, but somehow it's magnificent. De Palma directs with flair and aggression, using split screens, crash zooms, and surreal transitions to create a fever dream of pop culture and corruption. At its core, it's a scathing indictment of the music industry, of how art gets chewed up, stolen, and commodified by soulless machine men like Swan, the Mephistophelian producer at the film's center. And then there's the music. Paul Williams' songs are catchy, haunting, and layered with irony. Every musical number is both a performance and a commentary, shifting from 50s nostalgia to glam rock to proto-punk, reflecting how quickly the industry disposes of identity for trends. William Finley's tragic portrayal of Winslow Leach, the disfigured, vengeful composer trapped in the paradise, is both operatic and heartbreakingly human. Beneath the glitter and gore lies something timeless, a story about selling your soul for recognition, only to lose yourself in the machine. Phantom of the Paradise bombed when it was released in the US, except of course in Winnipeg, where it became a cult obsession. But decades later, its brilliance is undeniable. It's bold, it's bizarre, and it's exactly the kind of film that proves how daring 70s cinema could be. There have been multiple versions of Invasions of the Body Snatchers, but Philip Kaufman's 1978 remake is not only the most haunting, it's the most politically loaded. Relocating the terror from a small town America to the heart of San Francisco, Kaufman updates McCarthy-era paranoia for a post-Watergate world where trust has eroded. Identity is fluid, and conformity lurks beneath the surface of every interaction. The body horror here is subtle, but devastating. More about mood than gore. The way people change just slightly. The uncanny silence between characters. It's all unnervingly real, and that ending? It's one of the most iconic and soul-piercing final shots in film history. More than a remake, Invasion is an existential nightmare, confronting the fear that modern society, with its alienation, was already turning us into pod people. You may know it as a Broadway musical, but Milos Forman's film adaptation of Hair is something far stranger and far more resonant. Released at the tail end of the 70s, Hair is a freewheeling, anti-establishment trip that captures the counterculture spirit not with nostalgia, but with piercing satire and tragic irony. While it's wrapped in color and song, the film's real heartbeat is one of youthful rebellion, crashing into the cold machinery of war. Forman, fresh off One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, turns his story of flower children into a poignant exploration of identity and loss. Its shifting tones from joyful to devastating mirror the collapse of the utopian 60s dream. With standout performances, inspired choreography, and a haunting final act, Hair is an underappreciated artifact of transition, when idealism met its limits and art dared to confront the consequences. Before the Hunger Games, before Battle Royale, there was Rollerball. But this isn't just a dystopian blood sport movie. Directed by Norman Jewison, Rollerball is a slow-burning political allegory disguised as a violent future sport film. It's 2018 in this world. Governments are gone, replaced by corporations. Individuality systematically erased. The solution? Give the masses Rollerball. A brutal spectacle designed to crush personal glory in favor of collective control. James Caan delivers a steely, restrained performance as Jonathan E., a star athlete who refuses to be broken by the system that profits off his pain. The film's pacing is deliberate, its tone sterile, but that's precisely the point. It mimics the dehumanization it critiques. Its vision of corporate-controlled futures feels less like fantasy today and more like prophecy. Rollerball is slow, strange, and deeply unsettling, a warning dressed in leather and steel. These films aren't just curiosities from a bygone era. They're living testaments to what cinema can do when it rejects safety and embraces risk. Each one asks you to sit with discomfort, with contradiction, with beauty twisted through strange and unforgettable lenses. These are films that linger. They don't wrap up cleanly, and they don't ask for permission. They just exist, challenging, subversive, and wholly alive. If you're craving more deep cuts and strange masterpieces, make sure to subscribe. Drop a comment below if you've seen any of these, or if you've got your own pick for an underrated 70s gem, because the rabbit hole of cinema runs deep, and we've only just begun to dig.